Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Hardcore Challenge Live. I'm the commish, Ben Klein, and this is our Week 14 Game of the Week edition, the final Game of the Week for the regular season of the 2016 Hardcore Challenge. There are a couple big games this weekend, but none is as big as the matchup that directly affects the final two remaining playoff spots. That would be the matchup between Tama-Tares and Renegade Misfits. Tama-Tares is the defending Wild West Division champ and can make that back-to-back if they win this week. A win and the division is theirs. A win by Renegade Misfits and they clinch the final wild card spot. So both are win and you are in. If either loses, they both could completely miss the playoffs. And it would come down to how other teams still fighting fair in their final week as to whether they make it in or not. Tama-Tares' chances would not be very good at all because Renegade Misfits, it would pretty much win, obviously, because they're playing against them. It would kind of come down to what Stinky Pinky did. So your hopes would rely on what another team is. So I guarantee you, neither want to get to that point, and both are preparing for a win and we are in scenario. They have both put their playoff fate in their own hands. The road to the 2016 playoffs is paved with a Week 14 victory for both owners in the final game of the week in the 2016 Hardcore Challenge regular season. So, let's get into the breakdown of this matchup. Now, looking at these two teams historically, you have Tama-Tares, who made their first playoff appearance last year as they won the division in the tiebreaker over Stinky Pinky. And then you have Renegade Misfits, who has never made the playoffs. So, you got a team that's only made the playoffs once and was left without a victory, and a team that has never made the playoffs. So you can't really look at their history. They're obviously neither strong finishers. But one of them has to win this game. So obviously you can throw history out of the window because one of them's going to have to be a strong finisher this season, and somebody's going to have to finish the deal here in Week 14. So the first thing you got to look at is the quarterbacks. You got two of the hotter quarterbacks right now in the league. You got Alex Smith and Drew Brees. So Drew Brees for Renegade Misfits, Alex Smith for Tama-Tares. You got Alex Smith playing tomorrow night in a very big game against the Raiders at home, trying to come back and grab first place. So that's a huge game. They've already beat the Raiders once this season, so it's a huge, huge game. And then you got Drew Brees playing in a very big game as well at Tampa Bay. I got to go with Drew Brees in this one. I think Alex Smith is going to probably put up okay numbers. I mean, the Raiders do give up points. I honestly think the Raiders are going to win. I think we're going to score more points than them. But, and that's typically how you win the game. Score more points than the other guy. But, I just think Drew Brees is going to have a big game in Tampa Bay. I don't think Tampa Bay is I'm not up as on Tampa Bay. I know all the locals are up on them, obviously, but they've been doing all right, man. They won some big games on the road. I loved that they beat Kansas City for us. That really helped us out. But no, I think Drew Brees is going to light him up and put up a bunch of points. He's going to be Drew Brees on Sunday. So I'm leaning toward Renegade Misfits in that capacity. Now, running back, however, Tama-Tares has the combination of Matt Forte and Devontae Freeman, who I think are going to be huge. As you've got Matt Forte going against the going against the Niners, and you got Devontae Freeman going against the Rams. I think both are going to go huge. I think the Jets are going to lean on Forte this week, and I think he's going to have a huge game. Now, on the other side of the ball, Doug Martin. I think Doug Martin could have an okay game, but I don't think Derrick Henry's going to have a great game against Denver. So, I give the advantage big at running back to Tama-Tares. Now, at wide receiver, I see a big game probably from Doug Baldwin for Renegade Misfits and Meredith for Tama-Tares. So I'm calling it a wash at wide receiver. I don't think the other two are strong. You got Jordan Matthews for Renegade. You got Diggs for Tama-Tares. Don't think those guys are going to have a strong. They're going to be middle of the road games. So I would say I don't see a strong advantage for either. I pretty much would call the wide receiver position a wash. Now at the tight end position, Renegade Misfits is carrying Greg Olsen, and Greg Olsen is going to go get some points as they play San Diego this week. It's going to be a shootout. Greg Olsen is going to get the ball. Cam Newton loves to throw the ball to Greg Olsen. Hopefully this time he catches it for him. And you got Eifert going against the Browns. That's kind of a sneaky little one too. You know, I would really want to say Olsen, but you know, I can see where Eifert could have a big game. But I'm still leaning more towards Olsen at the tight end position. Now at the flex position, you got Sanu for Tamateras, which I think could be big. You got Julio. Julio's a little banged up, and you know, maybe there's been some talks of them not going full with Julio, giving him a little break. So you know, maybe they lean on Sanu a little bit, and I think that's big to have him in the flex position. Now you've got Robbie Anderson, wide receiver for the Jets, obviously on the other side in the flex position, and that is not a strong flex position. Any wide receiver playing for the freaking Jets is not a strong guy to have in any position. Flex, freaking anywhere. Jets are terrible. Now at kicker, I guess I would give the advantage to McManus, kicker for the Broncos for Renegade Misfits, over Lutz, New Orleans, Tampa Bay. It's a freaking coin flip. Defensively, however, you've got Renegade Misfits, got the Seahawks going to Green Bay. The weather's not been the best up there. It's cold. I think the Seahawks could do well. I think they could keep the score down, and I think they could keep the yardage down, which would be big for, you know, obviously defensive team scoring. Now, on the other hand, you've got Tamateras' defense, the Ravens, going to New England. You know they're going to get points put up on them. Tom's freaking sold his soul. He's going to put points up on them. And so I would definitely give the advantage of defense to the Renegade Misfits. Now, the only thing that really jumped out at me on individual defensive players, I don't see any stars. I don't see anybody really jumping out on either team's roster for me. The only thing I see is that defensive back, Tamateras has Carl Joseph in there right now. Carl Joseph is a no-go for tomorrow, so he's definitely going to want to make a move there. So that's my breakdown of the positions, how I see it for the game of the week this week between Tamateras and Renegade Misfits. So I've only been wrong 4 times this season. I am 9-4 in my game of the week predictions. I would like to go 10-4. So this was a very tough one to pick. You look at it and the line on it is very close. So what do you guys think? Post in the comments. Anybody that's watching, Tamateras or Renegade Misfits? Who do you think? I'm going to pick Tamateras. I think Tamateras is going to win. Renegade Misfits has been on the skids, and I think they've just lost too much firepower. And I'm picking Tamateras. I think they're going to win the division. Stinky Pinky's going to probably miss the playoffs. Stinky Pinky, you might get the wild card. I don't know. The wild card is such a crazy situation. It's hard to tell what's going to happen with the wild card. But I think Tamateras will win. Matt, I think you're going to grab your second straight Wild West crown. And we will see if I can go 10-4 in my game of the week predictions, which isn't too bad. So, it's the final week. Did you punch your ticket? Are you going to the playoffs yet? Are you one of the teams still fighting for the playoffs? Or you're like me and you just want to get a win on the way out, man? I just want to be Donkey Punch. I just don't want to I want J-Dub to end his season on a W. Because both our teams suck this year. I just want to win my last one. So you can be any one of us. But regardless, it's still the final week of the regular season. Yours might be over. Others aren't. Are you ready for the challenge? Good luck. Game on.